Hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Raw. No, this is not an old school Monday Night Raw. You are on Wrestling Warm-Up, and that means it is a pay-per-view Sunday, because it's Sunday, and it's 6 instead of 6:30, and it's not Monday. The days and months and years keep getting confusing and just merge together as time goes on, with our WWE product being as slow and viciously awful to watch as it has been. Outside of the developmental territory, NXT, I want to talk about that before we even get going with TLC, because TLC's tonight. TLC, the kickoff show will start at 7 p.m. We're going to run till then, more than likely, talking about TLC and, of course, this past Thursday night's NXT TakeOver event, our Evolution, or if you're just someone that knows how to spell English words, Revolution. There's no point in having a space in between R and Evolution, period. I don't know why they even went there. But Chris Walters is joining me this evening. We both want to say to our comrade John Alba, please get well soon. That's why he is not with us tonight. He was in an accident earlier today. Is getting checked out at a facility. They're probably not going to just give him Z-Packs, which is good. They're going to make sure he's doing okay. And of course, our buddy Alex Bisong is under the weather as well. He's sick this evening, and we want to wish him the best. Get well soon, so we can do this show tomorrow with you people on it. But Fight Walter Fight is joining us, which is an homage to Mr. Kevin Owens, who debuted to much aplomb this past Thursday night, which is hilarious. You know, John and I were talking about Owens' debut. We said they should bring him out as a face, and then, of course, turn him heel at the end. Exactly what we saw. Walter, what were your thoughts on Thursday night? Because for me, it was the show of the year.
Yeah, I mean, NXT keeps topping themselves with these live shows on the WWE Network, and kudos to everyone involved, because there really wasn't a down point in that entire show. Like, we even got a squash with Baron Corbin and Ty Dillinger, but that served a purpose as well, because it set up the potential feud with Bull Dempsey.
Right.
And then the tag team match, although I was a little disappointed it didn't get a lot of time, I still think both sides delivered. The Divas match was incredible. I thought Sasha Banks really came into her own. I've always been kind of sleeping on her in the past.
Definitely.
But she's really elevated herself to the top, one of the top divas in NXT, and I think she'll have a really good career once she makes it to the main roster. Of course, you start off the show with Kevin Owens, an amazing debut against CJ Parker. I loved his entrance. I love his entrance music. Clearly, WWE wants to use that KO, short form there. They blew it with Cassius Ohno, but they're going to be able to use it with Kevin Owens. He broke his nose. Thanks a lot, CJ Parker. You can't hurt a guy in one match in his debut.
Palm strike was so stiff. Oh, yeah. My God.
But then we closed the show with arguably maybe the best match on NXT all year, which is saying something because there's so many contenders right now. But I loved Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville, and the crowd was 150% behind Zayn. Neville, who is a face, although they've been kind of going heelish in the last couple of weeks, he's still pretty over. But in comparison to Zayn, it was night and day. They had an amazing 40-minute match. And, of course, Sami Zayn is your new NXT champion, and I can't wait to see what his future holds on the brand, how long he's going to be holding the belt. So, yeah, thank you, NXT, for keeping my enthusiasm for wrestling high, because Lord knows weekly television for WWE is a pain in the ass to watch as of late.
Yeah, man, let's talk about that, because we've talked about it. You've turned Raw off, and we've talked about on our Wrestling Warm-Up Raw pre-shows where if I didn't have to watch Raw and live tweet during it, I probably wouldn't be watching it. I actually went to Raw last week here in my hometown, because if it's here, I'm always there. In Greenville, it wasn't the Greenville crowd was actually turned on fire Monday night. I don't know what the deal was. The Greenville crowd has never been that explosive as far as giving pops to people who deserve it and actually getting involved in the angles, and it was weird because it was more like a WCW Greenville crowd back in the day. But they definitely were a little bit more interested this time around. But it was the Slammies, and there wasn't a lot to say, oh, this was awesome. They had a phony ambulance pumping smoke for Dean Ambrose, which was funny, but he got a huge pop out of it. And that's the thing. I haven't gone back and watched to see how the Greenville crowd came across on TV, but they were super loud in the arena. And it was packed out, too. I would say probably 93% of the arena was packed. They didn't have many of the sections blocked off either, so that was good. But the funny thing was I was going, man, Raw is packed out here in Greenville this week. I really hope we get a good show, and it wasn't awful. But then, of course, Thursday hits, and I'm like, God dang it, man! Why can't we get Raw and SmackDown to look like NXT? Because NXT is consistently awesome. It's awesome every time, and especially they go all out, balls to the wall on these little specials that are like their pay-per-views. They do 4 a year, just like the old Big Four used to be, and they're all just showing out. And it's one of those things where you're talking about Sami Zayn, who obviously won NXT Superstar of the Year at the Slammies, and immediately tweeted out that he hoped he could win the title, and he knew he was going to win the title, but he hope he could win the title to prove that he's NXT Superstar of the Year. And I don't know if there's anybody better in that developmental territory right now. I think Sami Zayn is going to be a huge superstar when he makes his jump to the main roster. But first, we're going to get an amazing program between Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I'm looking forward to that because how many amazing matches have we seen between the two in PWG, in Ring of Honor, and I mean everywhere else you could think of? El Generico, Kevin Steen. Amazing matches. I mean, we're not going to see the type of stuff we used to see then. We're not going to see the Ring of Honor, the career-ending, tables, ladders, and chairs match. We're not going to see that ladder match that we saw in Ring of Honor between the two because A, Kevin Owens isn't going to use the package pile driver, and B, you're not going to see the brain buster on the turnbuckle from El Generico, Sami Zayn either. So there's going to be little differences, but I did think Sami Zayn and Adrian Neville showed out Thursday night, dude. You can obviously tell that Pat Patterson booked that match because there are a lot of different nodes to, like, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels Iron Man match. I mean, these guys went 40 minutes. They easily could have gone an hour. And I would have still been absolutely glued to the screen because that match was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And you got to tip your hat to both men. I'm not huge on Neville because I don't think he's going to be that much of a success on the main roster. The kid's super talented. He's just 5'0", and the accent can disconnect him from the fans. I hope they find something for him that'll work. But I'm more concerned about him going up to the main roster than I am Zayn. I think Zayn's going to be a huge superstar, and rightly so.
But Neville has a really unique look, too. Like, no one that small has ever had the physique he has. His physique rivals anyone on the main roster right now, regardless of their size. And I think WWE, when he does move up, is going to accentuate his matches more than anything and trying to get him over in that regard, because that's going to be super easy to do. Keep the microphone out of his hands. Let him be that aerial, specialist. And, even when Rey Mysterio was super over, he didn't have to talk a lot either. It was just, that's our guy. Like, he's a cruiserweight. He does all the high-flying stuff we love to see each and every week. So I might be a little bit more optimistic than some people.
Yeah, you're probably more optimistic than I am. The dude's jacked. Don't get me wrong. He's just 5'0", and I think that he's got some disconnect issues. If whatever heel he works with at first doesn't just nail on that he is like one of the elves from Lord of the Rings, like he's a Hobbit-esque guy. Of course, we've already heard him called the Hobbit before. If people don't nail on that the entire time, they're losing a good heater because, man, the guy just doesn't have appeal visually outside of his muscles. The guy's great in the ring, don't get me wrong. Pac has always been somebody you want to watch. It's just one of those things where main roster, he's not going above the Intercontinental Championship level, in my opinion. He's going to be one of those guys that just hangs in the mid-card, which is fine because you need guys like that. You need guys like that. I'm more excited to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn go to the main roster because they're gonna spark some new fires with the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, whenever he gets pushed and wins the title and starts getting his main event run here soon. These up-and-comers, man, they're going to have some awesome matches with these guys in NXT. I'm excited. I mean, we've seen what Cesaro and Sami Zayn can do, which those guys worked in the indies before too. So I'm excited to see these guys move up. The NXT product is something that I like what you said. It's actually kept my interest in wrestling. Without it, I would probably be debating whether or not to turn it off.
It's made us completely forget that there's a pay-per-view tonight. TLC.
Exactly right. Exactly, and that's you were doing news earlier, and that's the reports that you're seeing, man. From multiple different sources, you're hearing that the main roster is pissed off and tensions are high backstage tonight because they have to follow what happened on Thursday. And when you have people like Triple H going on Twitter immediately after that pay-per-view or special on the WWE Network and saying, hey, can someone help me? I have an empty box of brass rings. I need more brass rings because everybody on the NXT roster went out and grabbed them. Vince McMahon's proverbial brass rings.
He's not tweeting that after Raw anytime soon.
No, and he's not saying it after any pay-per-view. Maybe WrestleMania, because WrestleMania 30 was a good card. But consistently from start to finish, that NXT show was probably one of the best things, if not the best thing outside of WrestleMania 30 I've seen all year. And no wasted segments, even the squash match, like you said. There was no wasted time. There was no time where I was going, oh my God, man, here's a piss break. But there's an hour, maybe an hour and a half every Monday that I'm like, this doesn't need to be on the show, and now I'm just losing my mind. I don't want to watch this anymore. Yeah. And so you got guys backstage tonight that saw what Triple H said, that have read the internet, that are, all these guys read dirt sheets like our website. All these guys read Reddit and are on the internet all day, reading their tweets, seeing what people are saying back to them. They're all sitting there going, well, now these young bucks that are on the WWE Network are getting praised more than I am, and I'm on the main roster. What the hell I got to do to get them to back me like they're backing them? And that means, you know what you got to do? You got to turn up the volume. And yes, I did see someone that responded to you on Twitter earlier, and I want you to comment on this guy. But you used a comment in your editor's note when you were talking about the fact that the main roster's pissed off. Mm-hmm. You said use it as motivation. Because they're looking at it as basically it's a new rivalry within the company instead of an outside one. The NXT is the new WCW. It is causing them on the main roster to say, okay, I've got to step it up a notch, man. I got to do better work. I've got to be better creatively. All these kinds of things. But this guy said, how can you? I don't understand you saying, use this as motivation. They can't help that's what they're giving creatively. I want you to respond to that guy because that's what he said.
Look, there's a litany of reasons as to why the WWE superstars are pissed, and one of them not only because NXT, the wrestlers there, are outperforming them by leaps and bounds, but I do kind of understand the fact that when you're doing an episode of Monday Night Raw, you might not be getting the 20-25 minutes that you'd be getting on NXT to put forth a really good match. But my theory is you work with what you're given, and you take something that's bad, and you turn it into gold to the best of your ability, whether it's a promo, whether it's a 5-minute match, whether it's a 5-minute segment. You work with what you have. And right now, when I reported earlier today that the superstars are upset, lest we forget, these NXT guys and divas are not being paid a lot. And now there might be an exception to some of these independent stars that are coming up. Maybe they have some unique deals for them, like Balor and Itami. But they're working on scraps right now, and they are working with the heart and passion that the WWE main roster needs to be doing right now. And it's easy to kind of downplay the IWC, the internet wrestling community, but our opinion matters. And, we're living in an era of social media right now where Twitter and Facebook and Reddit, like, our opinions are being sent out to the masses, and we can ruin a guy just like that. And when we're watching Monday Night Raw every week, we're crapping on it for good reason because we're not liking what we're seeing. Then we turn on NXT, we see the guys that we've loved from the independent scene coming up, making a name for themselves, having great matches. It's a combination of so many things. So, to whoever posted that comment, I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but I'm on a completely different wavelength than you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things, too, where we say use it as motivation. He says, how can you say that because of creative? I will say, it is probably harder for the main roster guys to be able to go out there and just do whatever the heck they want to do. They're not given that kind of freedom. You got Vince McMahon and 26 other writers writing stuff, then changing it again, then literally rewriting it 30 minutes before it starts, and then continuing to rewrite it during the show. It's hard if they're giving you written lines, but you know what? At some point, if Vince McMahon himself is going on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast and saying, "I need some of you guys to step up, grab more rings, and just take a risk," then go out there and take a freaking risk. Do something that you're told not to do and ask for forgiveness later. If there's anything you've ever learned from the biggest boom in wrestling history, it was people like freaking Triple H and Shawn Michaels saying, "Hey, look, we just learned that we just go out there and do and say what we want, and it's better to ask for forgiveness later than it is to ask for permission." CM Punk learned that. He said that on his interview with Colt Cabana. Like he learned, okay, yeah, you know what? I should just do it and then ask for forgiveness later because it's going to be easier for me then. And that's what Shawn Michaels and Triple H have said for years. You just got to do it, take the risk, get over, make people want to pay money to see your work, to see what you have to offer next. You got to do something that's going to make people clamor for you. And like what we were talking about before we even went live, Vince Russo has said many a times, why the heck do we not have cliffhangers or things that make us super interested happening on Raw anymore? Because it's the same finish every week. It's just either the heels or the faces going over and posing to the crowd. Look at what we got in NXT on Thursday. We got a face debut at the beginning of the show. We got a champion who's worked. It was a year-long build for Sami Zayn to win that title, which we don't see on TV anymore. So a year-long build for Sami Zayn. Can't win it, which is it's the old Dusty Rhodes formula of building a face, a mega face. Can't get it. Finally gets it. The faces from the locker room come out, put him on his shoulders, march him around the ring. He gives this huge reaction and is super excited about winning the championship. You have his best friend be the first person. Kevin Owens hugs him, kisses him, praises him for winning the title. They start to leave together. Kevin Owens lays him out, then powerbombs the crap out of him into the freaking ring apron. And boom, you have a cliffhanger, oh my God moment. Kevin Owens just debuted as a face. He's already turned heel. We're going to get Owens and Zayn going forward in the next feud. How hard is that to write and book on Monday night when you have a surplus of talent that can pull that off and that are mainstream guys? It's not hard, but you have 26 people and Vince McMahon trying to do all that stuff when you have one writer for NXT. One.
Wrestling doesn't need to be complicated. It's pretty straightforward. You give the fans what they want. And I'm kind of tired of, why can't you just let the guys be themselves? Like the guys that are most over right now are just working, with their own character, their own personality. They don't need scripts all the time. Just give them a mic, give them, the time allocation and just let them do their thing. It's not rocket science.
It's almost like, I love the fact that we've gotten to where we've, that WWE has hired guys like Zayn and Owens, because Owens can talk, man. I mean, he's not just a big, agile dude. The guy can talk.
Right.
And I love the fact that we've gotten people that can talk. Bray Wyatt's promos, even though they've gotten a little stale through this program, I thought Mondays was better than previous weeks. Especially being there live and hearing him do it live. I think, you get guys like that in Ambrose who are just crazy on the mic. Rollins has gotten extremely good as a heel on the mic. These guys are going out there, and yeah, they're reciting lines, but, man, just give them points again. That's all they used to get. Here, make sure you hit these points, but be yourself and draw the crowd with your personality. Why are we not getting that anymore? Why is it, damn it, I forgot my lines, says Randy Orton to Sheamus. What's my line? Just say something. Hit the point.
I will say this, though. I think the one negative that came from NXT didn't even have to do with anything related to NXT. It was Roman Reigns forcing another scripted promo down our throats.
Dude.
If you ever needed proof that Roman Reigns is going to main event WrestleMania, it's the fact that they're shoving him down our throats every chance they get. He didn't need to be at NXT. It amounted to absolutely nothing. They just wanted his face out there. So we are going to get Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and I could not be less excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I said it Monday when I was there, and he came out, and they can talk about that the voting for Superstar of the Year was as legitimate as possible, but that's absolute bull crap.
Did you see the story with the poll on WWE.com? Apparently there was a line between each selection on the site, but there wasn't between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. So it could have almost been used as a scheme to get people voting for Bryan to vote for Roman Reigns. So maybe it was a little bit of a swerve there.
But it's one of those things too where one of our sources that works in WWE is a friend of mine, and he has said on numerous occasions over the last 2 years, when I've talked to him about certain things, he said, do not trust that the fan voting is always legit, because they usually already know who they want to win the big award or win. Like if you're voting for so-and-so to face so-and-so on Monday Night Raw, it's usually already planned out. They're just going to say the fans voted this way. There's no real way for you to tell if you're a fan voting on the app. You can't. You don't know. So it's one of those things where it's usually scripted anyway. They're just going to make the fans feel like they're doing something. So that's what happens. So to hear WWE say, "Oh, it's 100% legitimate," of course they're going to say it's 100% legitimate. And I would go as far to say, after being at the Slammies and knowing the reactions from the fans live, that everybody probably did vote for most of the awards. But Superstar of the Year, when Roman Reigns was announced, the women cheered and the men groaned, and all the men just freaking booed. And you're already getting a John Cena situation with Roman Reigns, and he's not even he's had one singles main event, one, since the Shield broke up.
It wasn't even a main event. It wasn't even a main event.
One. Well, he was in the Fatal 4-Way for the title.
Yeah, but that wasn't a singles main. Oh, you mean like by himself?
Right.
Shield? Oh, okay. And no one remembers. That was one of the worst main events of the year.
Right. Exactly right. And that's one of the things. You effed up, Kane. It's one of those things where I think that he's already failing.
At SummerSlam, he was overshadowed completely by Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, totally.
And that's superstar. And then he missed the second half of the year with the hernia injury. This is the superstar of the year.
Right. And so you're gonna tell me that's completely legitimate? No, they're gonna try to. And when we said, okay, we'll write a story that says WWE is saying it's completely legitimate, and then we'll hit on later that it's not. He shows up on the NXT thing.
Yeah.
And yes, he's a former NXT superstar, but just one little question: why are they trying to say who's going to be the first NXT superstar to ever win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship when Daniel Bryan won the WWE World Heavyweight Championship?
I think they're trying to differentiate between FCW and NXT. Daniel Bryan was never on the NXT brand. He was on the NXT game show, or whatever you want to call it. So I can see why they did that.
It still makes sense.
But if they wanted a former NXT guy to be on the NXT show, they should have brought Ambrose in, because he's going to fight Bray Wyatt later tonight. That could have been used as a TLC promo.
Right, but instead they used the guy that they want to shove down your throats before Royal Rumble so that you'd recognize this guy's strong. You remember this guy? He's strong and he's worthy of this push we're about to give him.
We're gonna
put him on TV. We're gonna put him on TV and put him on TV. Put him on TV. You're gonna see him tonight. I guarantee it.
You know what the problem is with Roman Reigns besides his awful promos? He's not our guy.
Right.
We have maybe 7 or 8 guys ahead of him right now. The Dean Ambrose, the Bray Wyatt, Seth Rollins, Dolph Ziggler. My God, they are all leaps and bounds. That's who the IWC wants to be in the main event of WrestleMania. But unfortunately, you have Brock Lesnar as your WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You need someone believable who can go toe-to-toe with him, and the only guy right now who can do that is Roman Reigns.
That's exactly right. If you look at the formula for professional wrestling and you look at the guy that's the hottest right now, that's the guy that you would usually put into the Royal Rumble to win the Royal Rumble and go to the title. Unfortunately, WWE has backed themselves into this awful, awful skinny and tight corner with Brock Lesnar being the champion. We've seen it since he won the title. It can't be Dolph Ziggler and Brock Lesnar. They've made Brock Lesnar such a monster that it would be so unbelievable to have Dolph Ziggler go up against Brock Lesnar.
WWE really loves to do that these days, where they build up a guy at a pay-per-view, and then the following month they do absolutely nothing with him. With all due respect to Dolph Ziggler, Survivor Series, the pay-per-view closes with him winning for Team Cena. Later tonight, he's fighting in an Intercontinental title match, in a ladder match, which should steal the show, but he's probably going to lose it. So what kind of momentum are you carrying over from Survivor Series? The same thing happened at Hell in a Cell with Ambrose and Wyatt. That was the number one talking point after the show. What happened at the following pay-per-view? We got a match that was basically a
got a 20-minute promo for tonight. That's exactly what we got.
And people are talking about the brass ring. Like, come on! It's a combination of maybe the superstar's not trying hard enough, and the fact that WWE creative has little to no clue to what they're doing right now.
No, and it's one of those things where it's 26 people that have never stepped foot in a ring.
Like, we've literally gone half an hour into this show, and we have not even talked about tables, ladders, and chairs, which starts in, like, an hour and a half. It's because it's just been so poorly booked. There's going to be some matches tonight that are going to bore the crap out of us, but there are going to be some bouts that we say, holy crap, that surprised the hell out of me. But at the same time, over the last 4 weeks, they have done literally nothing to make me give a damn about tonight. They added a stupid stipulation to Cena and Rollins that we all know is not going to count to anything. Right. And now we're stuck with a card of, like, all right, well, we'll wait and see what happens. I guess, man, it doesn't really matter, you know. It's another pay-per-view. Yeah,
I mean, it's one of those things, like we were saying, we're more excited about NXT than we are WWE right now. And that's why WWE main event roster guys are pissed off.
I hope it lights a
And
fire up their ass, to be
I hope
honest.
it does too. And that's the thing, man. The weeks that we've gotten consistently bad TV, we've gotten good pay-per-views. So I'm looking forward to the matches themselves, outside of a few of them, because a few of them are just already designed to be awful. And we're going to talk about that now. Let's go ahead and let's start talking. We've got 30 minutes. You've heard us talk about NXT. Both of us love the freaking thing. Both of us watch it every single Thursday. It's now a thing that, you know, some people go, I've never watched NXT. My wife is obsessed with NXT right now. Okay, she is obsessed. She loves Sami Zayn. She loves Charlotte. She thought Kevin Owens was awesome, and I'm like, thank you, babe. Like, you love good wrestling. Like, I love the fact that you love good wrestling, and she hates the stupid crap with Big Show and all this stuff that all of us hate. My wife has literally turned into an IWC mark, which is hilarious.
The only wrestling my girlfriend will watch with me is NXT. Actually, yeah. She watched the first one she watched in forever was the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view with the Neville, Zayn, Kid, and Breeze, and she was totally into that match. And she was, if not for like a work-related thing, she was going to watch the NXT show with me. So that just goes to show that it's winning over pretty much everybody at this point.
Right, but just because it's so good. And so that's what we talked about this 30 minutes, is the fact that WWE is failing to deliver on the things that NXT is. And that's a shame, because the only people that can see NXT are the people with the network. And if that's a network ploy, that sucks. Because you're losing viewers every single week on Monday night.
We're still getting it televised in Canada, actually.
Every single Monday night. Well, I'm talking about the U.S., which is where the majority of the viewers are. Every single Monday night, we're losing viewers. Every single Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've been watching wrestling for years. I don't watch it as much anymore. Like, I don't feel compelled to anymore.
We're going from 94 back into 95. It's the same thing, and we need something like an NXT to be a WCW and light a fire into the business again. And I hope this is where we're going. I hope it does it. I really hope that it does, because we got TLC starting at 7, and with a kickoff match. I'm actually looking forward to the kickoff match. It's not a throwaway for me. I'm really happy that they put Kofi Kingston, Big E, and Xavier Woods together. I think it's going to benefit all three guys. They got a huge reception in Greenville. Like, what?
It's because of their gimmick, though, right? Like, Greenville's kind of a...
we're in South Carolina. They are a gospel-y faction. Everyone was chanting New Day with them. I mean, everybody was all for them. But I'm happy about that, because all three guys are talented and needed this. And I've been a big supporter of this faction happening since we got rumors of it in May. Since we saw a little teasery about it, I'm excited for it. I think it's a little campy. I think it's a little racist, but I do like the fact that all three of these guys are together, and I think it's going to do well. I really think they're going to thrive. There's not a person on our staff that didn't pick the New Day to win tonight. And that's because we all believe that these three guys are going to get a good rub and get a good push. And I also personally believe, seeing what I saw Monday live, I think we're going to see Stardust and Goldust face off against each other at WrestleMania. And I think the teaser is going to continue even harder at Royal Rumble. We've seen these guys, Goldust, come in and do sporadic Royal Rumble appearances with Cody, and they always go toe-to-toe with each other as soon as they hit the ring. And I think we're going to see Stardust and Goldust go toe-to-toe at the Royal Rumble, and it's going to come back to WrestleMania. They have a one-off, and then Goldust is gone.
We've been saying that for years.
I know, dude. But I think it's legitimately going to happen this year. When they lost the match Monday night, Stardust was going back to what Cody Rhodes was doing before, upset about the fact that he lost. He didn't want Goldust to touch him. It was one of those things where I think they're going to go that route again. They didn't pull the trigger last year. They wanted to keep these guys together, so Cody had something to do, which I love. Because I love that they evolved Cody to where he is, being able to show more of a character side. So I enjoy that. I'm glad that they kept them together and didn't do it, but I think this is the time, because Goldust isn't going to be full-time next year.
Well, Stardust is obviously the strength of that duo. I hope he does keep the Stardust gimmick when the inevitable split happens. I hope he doesn't resort back to Cody Rhodes, because we've seen that doesn't work, because he's had a million chances to make something of himself. But the Stardust thing has clicked, and I hope it amounts to something in the future. But in terms of the New Day, I couldn't be more off with these guys. Like, I'm just not sold on the gimmick. I like the three guys as who they are. But I just think there could have been a lot more done with this. I don't think there's any longevity with this New Day gimmick and this happy-go-lucky trio. They will win tonight, like you said, just to continue the tease with the Dust Brothers and the fact that they're still new and they need victories right now, and you can easily throw them into a tag title match at the Royal Rumble with another team that we'll be talking about later. But yeah, I'm just not sold on them. They don't really do it for me, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're both on the same page that we're not huge on the gimmick. Obviously, but we both love the fact that these three guys are working together. I think that at some point these guys have to go heel and be vicious heels.
They should have been heels from the get-go.
I agree completely. We need another heel tag team, which we're going to get the Ascension coming up very soon.
Right.
But at the same time, man, they're gonna turn at some point, and they should be absolute vicious heels. And I want to see Kofi Kingston as a heel because I think he's got it in him. And I really think that they could be a good Freebird, dirty three-way tag team. And I'm looking forward to that stable. No matter what their gimmick is, I just want to see these three guys work together and succeed together because Xavier Woods needs it, Kofi Kingston needs it, and Big E damn sure needs it. So I think that it's good that they're together. Moving forward, we all picked Rusev to win tonight as well. I know, again, the funny thing is John Alba has been saying over and over again that Jack Swagger's going to be the guy. That I think they're really going to give Jack Swagger the rub to beat Rusev, and no, he's not. We said maybe if they would have continued these matches in succession like they had done before, there was no real closure after the last time.
Yeah.
Mark Henry came in and wanted to work with someone, so they gave him Rusev, and Jack Swagger should have, before the U.S. title was even in the picture, Jack Swagger should have gotten the rub there. They should have done the broken leg injury with the angle with Coulter then, and then Jack Swagger could have been, obviously defending his manager and getting the big rub during the third match. Because he won by a count out and then won by submission, have Swagger finally win at the end with a broken leg on Coulter, and he gets the hoorah and the pyro and ballyhoo, as Vince Russo would write in his script. One of those things, though, man, I just don't see the U.S. title changing on to Jack Swagger tonight. Rusev has a title now. Why would he get the rub?
I reported earlier today that Lana may have made a little bit of a mistake there on her Instagram account. She posted a photo of the European Championship with the WWE, the new WWE logo on it, with the hashtag Raw. So perhaps they debut that tomorrow night. We've all thought that was the logical step. Why would Rusev want to carry around the United States Championship? Just convert it to the European Championship. I think they're trying to abolish all signs of WCW anyway, so let's get back to some old school WWF stuff. But let's face it, the only reason Swagger is in this feud right now is because Sheamus is hurt.
Oh, yeah, totally.
That's if they wanted to put the United States title on Swagger, they should have done it when he was hot, when he was getting "Let's Go Swagger" chants, when the We the People was at the all-time high. But right now, this is just another filler match. I could have lived without it. Rusev's going over.
And I'm going to tell Marky Baby 101 on Twitter, we're going to get to your tweet in a moment. When we get to talking about the guy you're talking about, he made a comment on something we were talking about previously in the show. When we get to that point, I'm going to hit what you said because I want to comment on that as well. So just hang with us. Keep watching. Keep tweeting us. If you're in the chat room, if you have any questions, you got some comments you want us to read out, talk about, make sure you're getting them in there. Walter's in the chat room. I'm on Twitter. We're wanting to interact with you guys, so send us some stuff if you're interested in what we're talking about. Obviously, we all picked Rusev via submission, except for Will Benson, who consistently picks Rusev via pinfall, and he has never won a match via pinfall. Will, come on.
We love you, Will. Man. When the new scoring system is implemented, you will pay for those errors.
You will, because that's going to be a half or a whole point. That's what's going to happen. All right, so we got a tag team title match as well. Damien Mizdow and The Miz. Damien Mizdow, who, dude, sitting there live watching him do his shtick Monday night was one of the best things I've ever witnessed. It's so entertaining. This guy is so over that it's inevitable that they're going to have a feud between these two. Hopefully that starts at Royal Rumble and builds towards WrestleMania. I have to see. You got to see Sandow come back and be a major player because he's so over, he's so entertaining, and he's just going to be. When they turn him, he's going to get the biggest fan freaking pop, and he's going to be a baby face that's just made. But tonight they're defending their real tag team championships and toy tag team championships, which is fantastic. And all of us picked The Miz and Damien Mizdow to win to keep the titles, even though you and I both feel like the Usos may have a shot here.
Well, we talked about this before the show. The Ascension promos kind of threw us off, but now that I really think about it, they're probably going to be doing those video packages for the next month or so.
Right.
So I don't think Miz and Mizdow need to drop the titles anytime soon. This feud with the Usos, well, you know, we all thought the New Day was going to win that tag team turmoil match, but we were surprised when the Usos came away with the victory.
Yeah.
It's going to be an all right match. It's not going to be a disaster, but you know, this whole Naomi thing, I hate incorporating real life girlfriends and wives into storylines. We saw how much of a disaster that was with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella and Kane, and what a train wreck that was. So Miz and Damien Sandow go over, and you know what? This will lead to a match at WrestleMania, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, for me, we're going to get an entertaining match. You're going to see Mizdow do his thing. If they go the route of the Usos winning tonight, then we're going to start seeing Miz and Mizdow dissension tonight. Like, we're going to start getting the build towards Miz and Mizdow's split tonight if they lose the titles. But I think we might see them lose the titles at Royal Rumble, and that's when the split starts. And then they're both in the Rumble. And then, of course, we see some major dissension there.
It would be a weird time to start teasing like hardcore dissension tonight, especially because the next couple of weeks are just going to be filled with New Year's stuff and the tribute to the troops. Like, not going to be really any continuity. So save that for the New Year if you want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand that tribute to the troops has already been taped, so probably not going to see a lot of title changes tonight.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and put that out there. We're probably not going to... That was one of the things that I used in my prediction making for the night, okay? If you're a champion, you're going to keep the title tonight.
Yep.
It's just going to happen. There's not going to be a title change. So if you thought, oh, well, Dolph Ziggler's winning the IC title tonight. No, he's not. No, he's not. They've already filmed the daggum tribute to the troops, and why would they put on a show with different champions? Doesn't make any sense. So... there's my little soapbox of getting off of it now. We're going to talk about the Divas title, and everyone at WrestlingRumors picked Nikki Bella to win via pinfall. Again, for me, logically, we've heard the AJ Lee rumors that she's done after tonight. The way she gave her speech Monday live sounded like she's saying, hey, there's going to be a whole new crop of superstar girls coming up. More power to them. I hope that one of them wins it next year. I'm not going to be here. That's how it sounded to me. And that's one of those things where she doesn't have to work anymore. She's accomplished every single thing that she could. She's a fantastic female competitor. I hate to see her go, but, man, kudos to you for doing what you wanted to do for your entire life, getting 3 years out of it, and making the most of it and winning the WWE Women's Championship / Divas title 3 times. Kudos to you for being who you are, and then living your dream now. You want to be a mom? Go be a mom. Have some beautiful babies. That's all I gotta say. I think tonight's the night for her. She's done.
AJ Lee versus Ronda Rousey at UFC 200. That's all I gotta say.
That would be so baller. If AJ could train and literally get in the ring, I would pay to see that in a heartbeat.
No, we're obviously just kidding here. We would love to see it, but AJ, her time is up. I think her heart's not in it anymore, especially with all of the CM Punk news right now. She has so many outside interests that she could easily latch onto. She has her new website. I hear that she's going to be doing some clothing as well. So go live and check your husband. Be happy. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, when you're in wrestling, you're not entitled to stay in it just because the fans want you to be. If you have a way to get out, if your contract is up and you just don't want to do it anymore, you've done all of your goals, just leave. What else would she possibly need to do at this point?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a good statement.
And then she'll be on TV until WrestleMania, and then we'll be talking about this for the next.
I know, right? Yeah, she's gonna win the title at WrestleMania again. No, it's one of those things. I mean, it is what it is. If she stays, she stays. If she goes, she goes. Yeah. But we all feel like Nikki Bella's keeping the title tonight. So
bless her.
That's what we're going with. And from moving from piss break to dump break. The big shit. That's what the S stands for in TLC. S. Dump break.
Oh God.
Yeah. So a steel stairs match, which We haven't talked about this since it happened, so let me talk for a second, because we didn't do a wrestling warm-up Monday night. WWE, why? Why is this pay-per-view now tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs? Like, and why? And how long am I supposed to pause with these ellipses? Am I supposed to go tables, ladders, chairs,
and stairs?
and stairs? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's just the
I literally
dumbest
thought
thing.
you froze there for a second.
It's the dumbest thing. It is so awful. I mean, why? You're going to have a steel... I don't like the fact that there's a chairs match either, but we're going to talk about that when we get there. Why in the blue hell is there a steel stairs match? Why? Like, what's the point? Like, what's the stipulation for a steel stairs match? The first person to slam him? The first person to hit him in the face with the stairs? The first person to get the stairs in the ring and use the stairs? What's the point? Just that steel stairs are legal? People use the stairs all the time anyway.
If you hit him with a chair, you're disqualified.
It's the most ridiculous thing. Still stairs, but you cannot use a chair. It's still somebody can still get disqualified.
This is the dumbest
Stupid,
thing,
man.
And then they literally renamed the pay-per-view because of this dumb match.
So stupid. Ugh. I mean, this is the first match where we had dissension amongst the crew.
Because we're just whatever.
And I flopped my opinion on this one. I was flipping coins back and forth, and when I changed my Kane pick earlier today, I had to change this one as well. So I have the Big Show, you have the Big Show, and Frank has the Big Show going over here. And it's not because we're Big Show marks, people. It has nothing to do with it.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
It has everything to do with Ryback and Kane. Okay. Who has more to benefit from? You can't have all faces win these matches, right? Like you can't have a lot of faces just take off tonight, and you can't have all the heel. But the thing is, all the heels carry the titles, and you're not going to change a lot of title matches either. So if you're gonna say the two matches where faces win, then you could say Eric Rowan and Ryback are locks, right? Because Dolph Ziggler's not going to lose. Or not going to win.
They're not going to win, yeah.
Right. So it's one of those things where you could legitimately have both face guys that don't have a title on the line. You could have Ryback and Eric Rowan win, and it's not going to be that far. It's not going to be that far fetched. But I don't see them doing that. I see the strength that they're wanting to build on Ryback. Maybe we could, and all three of us could be completely wrong. They may give it to Eric Rowan tonight. I had to flip a coin on this and just pulled the trigger on Big Show. But Ryback and Kane, we're going to talk about it in a second. But the steel stairs, I don't know. It's the dumbest thing. I really don't care if I get this prediction right or wrong.
Right.
Because I just don't care. But Will and John and Alex and Joe picked Eric Rowan, and we didn't even know we didn't know to say via pinfall or what the hell, because we don't know what the stipulation of the match is. We literally if you read our predictions, it literally just says the name of who's going to win. We have no idea how to count this thing. It's a stairs match. It's the first time they've done a steel stairs match. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. And again, you got 26 writers thinking this will be good.
Eric Rowan is one of those guys that you don't necessarily have to have win his first singles pay-per-view match. And I think right now, with Big Show, one of the big talking points from Survivor Series was, of course, his heel turn, aligning himself with the Authority, in a sense anyways. So Eric Rowan, keep building him up as this kind of like, I don't even know what to call him. He's an idiot who's super smart.
That's the problem. I literally believe... And I think this is why John and Joe and Alex picked him as well, and Will. I genuinely believe that Eric Rowan is one of the guys that needs to win in his first singles match out. I just don't think they're going to do it. I think he is one of those guys. He is the lesser member of the Wyatt family. He's this guy that they're trying to build as this. Oh, he freaking makes wine and he can solve a Rubik's cube in 2 seconds. He's this brilliant guy that Bray Wyatt had to fix. Did Bray Wyatt make him a genius? Where did they come up with this stupid genius gimmick for this guy? For 4 weeks he was a broken man that Bray Wyatt had to fix. Did Bray Wyatt teach him how to make wine? What the hell?
Yeah, way to play up the continuity with those promos where Bray Wyatt was like, "Oh, I've saved Eric Rowan," and the first things we see from him is him looking around for a woman and playing with a angry, grumpy cat. You know, oh, he's perfectly okay. Bray Wyatt saved him. He's not an idiot at all. But now he's
No.
fixing Rubik's cubes and all that stuff.
He's a guitar genius, and he freaking makes wine on the weekends.
It's two guys that I don't. I like Eric Rowan's entrance though. I will give
like
him that.
The music. Yeah,
With the banjo and stuff, that's pretty badass.
Yeah,
but,
I do like the music.
Eric Rowan and Big Show in a stairs match. So I picked Big Show just because I hate myself, and I figured, what the hell? Let's just stick the dagger in deeper.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, it was a coin flip for me. I went with Big Show. We'll see what happens.
I picked Big Show to win a match. What am I doing with my life? Like,
hey, it's the fall season. Okay, it is Big Show's time to shine. All right.
I'm over it.
So getting into other matches that actually matter. The Intercontinental Championship ladder match should be fantastic. I'm looking forward to this match. Dolph Ziggler, workhorse, really, really good. And of course, Luke Harper's really good and gets he gets underappreciated a lot of times. So this could be as many times as I've compared Dolph Ziggler to Shawn Michaels. I do it on a weekly basis. Ziggler. When I look at Ziggler, I see 94, 95 Shawn Michaels. And now that we're having this ladder match with a guy like Luke Harper, this could be the closest thing comparative to the WrestleMania 10 ladder match between Razor Ramon and Shawn Michaels. And I am way too excited about this match. This is the one match on the card that I'm really super stoked for.
What we talked about earlier with the NXT show lighting a fire under the WWE roster, Dolph Ziggler works every single show with a fire up his ass because he always wants to steal the show. He always wants to be elite. He wants to be taken as like one of the top guys in the company. And we both said that Ziggler isn't going to win this match. I feel like winning the Intercontinental title in the first place would be kind of a downgrade after the showing he had at Survivor Series.
Right.
But then, what is this?
Where does it go?
Yeah, where does he go from here, right? But this is the match of the night. We don't even have to watch anything else. We know Ziggler's going to steal the show with Luke Harper, who continues to be underrated. But this is match of the night written all over it. Harper's going to win, of course, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we get Harper versus Rowan in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, and all of us picked Luke Harper to win except for Will Benson.
Because Will is just
he's just
those Brits, man.
Just hanging on for dear life, hoping that Ziggler gets a rightful view here. I don't know. And then of course we went back to picking pinfalls and submissions and such for this chairs match. That's ridiculous.
Another dumb stipulation that doesn't.
Again, what's the point? Chairs are legal.
Yeah, just
no. Yay.
No DQ.
Let's hit people in the back and in the shoulder with a chair. Chairs matches should not exist without being able to hit someone in the head. Period. There's no point in having a chairs match.
Yeah.
Look at me in the eye. There is no point in having a chairs match without being able to give a headshot. There's none.
Headshot.
Ryback, you want to prove that you can grab a brass ring and do something? Don't use the chair at all. If Ryback doesn't use a chair at all, I will commend him for being someone that's trying to do something. But for right now...
Oh, my God, that would be the most amazing thing if neither guy...
No, Kane can swing a chair. Ryback doesn't touch one but gets the victory. How about that?
Oh, if Ryback loses this thing, he is screwed.
He's
done. He's hanging on by a thread right now. I've never seen someone go from here to here in a matter of weeks. It's crazy.
There's not many of the superstars I despise. I hate Ryback so much.
I'm not a Ryback.
I can't stand him. I'm sorry.
People are starting to figure this guy out.
I cannot stand it. I couldn't believe in Greenville they did not. They were crickets for him when he first appeared. When he came out for his match, crickets, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came out at the end, the place popped like crazy because he's coming to help the faces. I'm like, what the? Be consistent. What the heck?
Damn it, Greenville.
Greenville. But no, Ryback waste. I have him winning by DQ. I don't know.
Let's hope Kane wins this thing, just for the sheer joy that will bring us.
I didn't leave Kane as my pick, is what I'll do. I originally picked Kane just because I hate Ryback that much. Then I got smart and said it's got to be Ryback. So
I picked Ryback, but oh my God, I want Kane to win this. That would just be the icing on the cake. I would laugh
so hysterically,
CM Punk would be just rubbing himself down with Z-Packs and just cheersing his Diet Coke. and all that stuff. So,
Oh,
oh my
my
God,
God.
perfect. We're loving this match for all the wrong reasons.
I know. When we want the guy that we picked to lose, that's when you know it's bad.
Oh.
But going into the Seth Rollins John Cena tables match, we all picked John Cena to win here because we know it's going to be Cena Lesnar. But this is where WWE needs to swerve the fans, okay? Because everyone expects John Cena to win this match.
Right.
This is when, if there's ever a time that I pray they swerve us, it's here. Because they've been reading the internet, they've been checking out everything. They know everyone is banking on John Cena winning here, even though they have advertised John Cena in the 30-man Royal Rumble match. Like that has been previewed on a video package. It has been written on the arena's website in Philly. That John Cena is going to be trying to go for his 3rd Royal Rumble win. They're advertising that he's in the Royal Rumble. And at that point, I'm like, well, what the heck do they do? Are they really going towards John Cena versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania? Is that what they're going to do? Is that what they're going to do? Are we going to see John Cena lose his title shot here and then win it back at the Royal Rumble? You know what?
Don't even joke about that.
Oh, my God. It's in the back of my head, dude. It's a question going on in my brain.
Oh.
So I'm posing it to you guys. Is this what we're going to see tonight? Because if there's one time to swerve the fans, it's now. It's now.
Look,
and I don't care who you have come. You want to make something crazy? I don't know. Freaking A. Bring Sheamus back to throw John Cena through a table. Turn Sheamus heel.
The most logical thing to happen tonight, and I didn't put this as the main event on the predictions page, but it's probably going to close the show. To be fair,
this match is probably going to be the main event for people that are asking us what do we think is going to be the main event. I totally see John Cena and Seth Rollins being the main event. Yeah.
It should be Ambrose and Wyatt, but it's Cena and Rollins most likely. I smell a Randy Orton appearance in this thing.
Oh yeah, totally.
Seth Rollins, and we're going to get Rollins and Orton at the Royal Rumble, and we'll continue on with Cena and Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. For the love of God, it better not be Cena Lesnar at WrestleMania. Hell, I don't even want it to be Reigns versus Lesnar at WrestleMania. I don't want Lesnar at WrestleMania. Screw this whole damn system.
The funny thing, all the house shows coming up, it's Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and Randy Orton and Kane. So does Randy Orton come out and cost Kane the match? Because Kane tripped over his foot when Seth Rollins was doing a curb stomp to him? Oh, I'm pissed at Kane because he tripped over me. I'm not pissed at Seth Rollins. I picked John Cena to win because Randy Orton cost Seth Rollins the match. That's why I pick it. Seth Rollins, I'm picking you to lose because I fully expect Randy Orton to come out and RKO you through a table. Period. That's what I see happening. But at the same time, my logic says this is the match where you want to swerve people. So that you have something, Acer was talking about on Twitter earlier. I said I'd get back to your comment. Acer says, is there going to be anything notable from this pay-per-view that's bigger than what we saw Thursday night? There's only one thing that can happen that will make people talk about TLC instead of TakeOver Our Evolution, and that's John Cena getting swerved out of his daggum #1 contendership spot. That's it. There's nothing else that you can talk about. Unless the Ascension debuts tonight, there's nothing.
Can we talk about NXT again, please?
Yeah.
This hurts.
My
God, this sucks.
The only TLC match on the card, Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. These guys are gonna show out, especially after Thursday. Okay. When you're talking about people are lit up about doing something. These guys are the only people doing a full-on TLC match. This thing's going to get violent. This thing's going to get crazy, and I'm going to be excited.
You want to swerve. You have Bray Wyatt win in the Ascension debut and join Wyatt.
That
would be a good way to do it.
I would talk about that.
Yeah.
I would be interested to talk about that tomorrow night.
Of all the people in the world to pick Dean Ambrose to win on pay-per-view, Frank Manzo, what are you thinking, buddy? You've given me speech after speech about how Dean Ambrose has screwed you over.
Hey, I know. I picked him too, just because I feel like he's due.
He's been due for months.
I know, but it's the same thing with the Usos. I picked the Usos over and over, or I picked the team against the Usos forever, and then I finally picked the Usos because I was like, oh, okay, well, you got to get on. They keep winning, and they lose, and I'm like, F. But now it's like Dean Ambrose. I picked Dean Ambrose every time, and he's lost every time. And I'm like, all right, I'm not changing. I'm sticking with Dean Ambrose. So Dean Ambrose, I picked Dean Ambrose. Will picks Dean Ambrose. Joe and Frank picked Dean Ambrose, and you and John and Alex pick Bray Wyatt.
See, here's the thing, though. With Dean Ambrose, if he loses, you're like, okay, well, he lost. He's still friggin' Dean Ambrose. He'll be fine. With Bray Wyatt, if he loses, I mean, what happens here? You spend months building him up with these video packages. The first match he comes back, he gets squashed in a match promo for the following pay-per-view, and then when that match happens, he loses? Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, I want Bray Wyatt to win.
He needs to win. That's the thing.
But I picked Dean Ambrose because I'm not changing my pick.
All right, well then, just be that way.
I don't know what else to do there. I could care less. This pay-per-view, again, I'm looking forward to Ziggler and Harper, and I do want to see Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt go at it in a TLC match, and I really don't care who wins. I'm going to be excited for either one.
Let me ask you this quick before we close things up soon. 2014, this is technically the end of 2014. Monday Night Raw, tomorrow night, whatever, tribute to the troops. It doesn't really affect anything.
Hey, Raw and SmackDown are live next week, man.
Ooh!
Oh, my God! And guess who's going to be on them? Brock freaking Lesnar, Roman freaking Reigns, probably Daniel freaking Bryan. Randy Orton's going to be back, man. We're going to have a full roster. Freaking Bad News Barrett's coming back, too.
Anyways,
who cares?
Now that we kind of have a fair enough grasp of 2014,
right?
Where does this crap hole of a year rank among some of the previous years, maybe dating back to 2000? Because this, with the exception of the whole Daniel Bryan thing to start the year, which gave us so much hope, with Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, we thought things were really starting to pick up. And then as the year moved on, we got the injuries, we got these crappy storylines, we got Lesnar literally not being on the roster with the WWE title. He just deserted everybody. I hated 2014.
Here's my thing. There were good matches and some excellent choices of.
But you can say that about every year, though.
I agree, and I do. There's year like 2010. I don't go back to watch anything from 2010. Maybe the Nexus debut. That's it. But there were more than just that this year, so I would still say 2010 was the worst year since 2000. Period.
Right.
Was this year worse than 2011 was saved by Punk.
Yep.
2012 was decent. We got the last Taker Triple H match at WrestleMania. We had some good stuff coming from Punk and of course Punk's heel turn. We got the Shield debut. There were some good things that went down in 2012 and 2013. There was good things in 2014, but I would still say 2010 is the worst year since 2000. But I would say the campiness and the cheesiness of what we're getting is going back to 94, 95, and that's not good at all. For me, the pay-per-views this year have been good. Wrestling-wise, the guys have turned up and showed out on pay-per-views. It's the TV that everybody watches 3 to 5 hours worth every week that sucked balls. So why? What's the incentive? I mean, I love the fact that I'm only paying $10 to watch pay-per-views now because I'm saving my butt so much money during the year. But at the same time, why am I still trying to watch on Mondays? Why am I barely skim over what happens on Tuesday nights. That's going to be shown on Fridays. Soon to be shown on Thursdays. I don't care about SmackDown. They don't do anything. We see the same matches that were on SmackDown on Raw the following Monday. So why in the world should I care about WWE TV? Give me something that's going to make me actually care to tune into your product, please. That's all I'm asking for 2015. I agree. 2014 was not a fantastic year. No. There was some good things that came out of it, though.
Acer's asking...
I would see Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins was a big thing that came out of this year. He's turning into a major main event player as a heel.
Acer's asking us on Twitter quickly, what did we think about the quality of matches on pay-per-views? Pay-per-views and television were night and day. The pay-per-views saved it because, I mean, there were incredible workers on the main roster right now, but when they're given nothing on TV, it kind of downplays the pay-per-view in general because we don't care what's happening. You can have a 5-star match, but if you don't give me some reason to be invested in the match, it doesn't matter.
I agree. Like I said, pay-per-view matches have saved the year because pay-per-views have been good.
Mm-hmm.
There's been two out of 12 bad pay-per-views this year.
Yeah, Battleground for sure.
Battleground was
what was the other one?
Awful. Extreme Rules wasn't great. We got the Batista versus Shield, or we got the Evolution versus Shield match.
Which was good.
That was really good, yeah.
But then Brian Kane was
awful.
Anything.
It was really bad. And there was Extreme Rules was not great. But
Kane went through a flaming table and no one cared.
Bad. But Marky, right before we get off here, you were asking the only thing that will save Reigns and Lesnar at WrestleMania is a Rollins cash-in. It'll bring a huge reaction and set up 4 months of pay-per-views. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's exactly what we've said in our chats. If we get the Money in the Bank briefcase cash-in, whether win or lose, I would rather Rollins win and take the belt off of Reigns when Reigns wins, so that we can get a babyface chasing the heel. But the thing is, if Rollins cashes in at WrestleMania, he's going to become the face instantly because it's the first cash-in at WrestleMania. If he wins, the place is going to erupt, and the next night, the place is going to continue to pop for Seth Rollins, period. I don't care what he comes out and says. The people are going to be so happy because Roman Reigns is getting booed already. Getting booed.
The only thing that would kind of steer me away from Rollins cashing in is that we had the same problem when Ziggler cashed in, and they said that they wanted to save it for Monday Night Raw because it would be convoluted with everything else. But as we head towards WrestleMania 31, we don't really have anything that stands out with the exception of Sting versus Triple H, which kind of lost a little bit of luster when they didn't bank on Sting's appearance at Survivor Series the following night on Raw. And now we're just kind of like, we don't know when he's going to show up again. So why not have Rollins cash in at WrestleMania? It would be the biggest moment of the night by far, even with Sting showing up, and it would make Rollins super over because no one would expect it. No one thinks WWE has the balls to have the Money in the Bank cash in close WrestleMania.
Yep, but if there was ever a time, it's this year.
Oh my God, it's this year. Because I really do think that people are going to turn on Lesnar versus Reigns fast.
Oh, totally.
It's going to be Batista Orton all over again.
Yep, I agree completely. And with that said, it's time to go watch TLC. Turn on your apps, turn on your gaming systems, turn on your WWE Network. Let's get to work. You can follow us at WrestlingRumors. I'm going to be live tweeting there all night during the show. Obviously, you can follow Chris Walter at Walter Sports. Thank you for joining me tonight, buddy. It was a good show. Enjoyed it.
Awesome as always, buddy.
Always. I'll see you tomorrow night for this program at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time before Monday Night Raw right here at WrestlingRumors.net. We love you guys. Enjoy the show, and we'll catch you on the next one.